Our topic this morning is the spiral stairway of reincarnation. Swami Kriyananda once asked Yoganandaji, "Have I been your disciple for thousands of years?" And Master replied, and he said, "It's been a long time. That's all I will say." Krishna remembers all his past lives, and we don't. Would we even want to remember them until we become realized like Krishna? Judas was the disciple of Jesus who betrayed him by accepting a bribe and turning Jesus over to the Roman soldiers who later killed him. And Yoganandaji says that almost 2,000 years after this, the soul that was Judas became a disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, and that he was liberated in that life. It took him 2,000 years, but he was liberated. And imagine the heavy karma and guilt of causing the death of an avatar. And it's a blessing that we don't know what we've done in our past lives. Sri Yukteswar said, "The past lives of all men are dark with many shames, but making the right spiritual effort now, everything in the future will improve." And we're all part of a progression of consciousness that we call reincarnation. And Swami Kriyananda likened it to cars on the expressway, that everyone's going in the same direction. And sometimes if we're driving, we'll try so hard to get past cars and get in front of a clump of cars, only to find that we're at the back end of another group of cars in front of us. And so making comparisons is a waste of time, comparing ourselves with others. We all reach the destination, but we reach it each in our own particular way. And the only important thing to do is to accept what we've been given here and now in this lifetime and do our best with it. Not understanding reincarnation can make us seriously unhappy, as we know. You know, the injustices in the world. You know why the good person dies early. Why the corrupt politician, he lives for a long time and dies peacefully in his sleep. And it may seem like random chaos. And when tragedy strikes, instead of attributing it to our own karma, our own mistakes in the past, we blame others. We feel sorry for our own selves, that we are a victim. And we don't learn the lesson that is ours to learn. On the other hand, being aware of reincarnation might make us lazy. We might feel, well, why should I make a spiritual effort now? I have all these future lifetimes that I can do so. And as a young man, St. Augustine would pray to God, and he would say, "Lord, make me good, but not yet." And so we may think, well, when I retire, that will be soon enough, then I'll learn to meditate. The caste system, of course, was not hereditary, but originally intended as to describe the stages of spiritual evolution that each soul goes through many lifetimes. And a young soul, new to a human body, begins to satisfy physical desires as a Shudra. And then we realize that if we have more energy and more money, we can satisfy more desires. And so the Vaishya begins to have mental creativity, but only for the purpose of himself, a selfish purpose. And the Kshatriya expands himself and introspects and improves himself and reaches out to others and serves. And the ideal warrior is willing to lay down his life for the sake of others. And then finally the Brahmin uses that same energy and turns it inward, and his love, his energy goes primarily towards God and the divine search. There's a story that the actor Dustin Hoffman tells of when he was playing opposite the great British actor Sir Laurence Olivier. And Hoffman had to play someone who had been tortured. And so he thought, let me really make this realistic. And so, to make it really effective. So for 2 nights he didn't sleep, he drank too much, he was hungover, and when he came on the set, he was so drained and haggard, he couldn't play the part. And Olivier pulled him aside and he said, perhaps, my dear man, you should learn simply how to act. And that's what we all need to do, is to just learn how to act in life. How to act in a role that we in a way that we play our role well, but we don't get involved in all the emotion that we study, that we practice, that we do our best, we play our part, but we do it with God, with God's presence always, and that we feel the direction the role is taking us is we feel in our hearts always an inner joy, an inner bliss that is God's presence. Yogananda ji wrote, to get off the wheel of reincarnation, you have to desire freedom very intensely. Then only will God release you. Your longing has to be fervent. If you are determined no more to want to play, the Lord has to release you. Why shouldn't He, once He sees that you really want Him alone and not His show, that you want only freedom in Him? Thank you.
I love the poem that Swamiji was singing earlier, and I'll just repeat a little bit of it. From the depths of slumber as I ascend the spiral stairway of wakefulness, I will whisper, God, God, God. The spiral stairway of wakefulness is what Master called reincarnation. No matter where I go, the spotlight of my mind will ever keep turning on Thee, and in the battle din of activity, my silent war cry will be God, God, God. And the last stanza, in waking, eating, working, dreaming, sleeping, serving, meditating, chanting, divinely loving, my soul will constantly hum, unheard by any, God, God, God. So I love our Guru's visualization analogy of reincarnation, this spiral staircase, how slowly we ascend, sort of level by level, into increasing wakefulness. That's why I chanted this, Divine Mother, wake me. Mother, awake me from my dreams. Mother, awake me in thy light. Hand in hand, we're dancing together, because it can be a dance of such joy if we remember that she is with us and playing with us throughout all of the seeming drama that happens at each of the levels of the staircase. Because, every level, at every lifetime, Maya seems to want to say, come from the center of that staircase and come out and play, come out. And then sometimes we get so drawn out that we forget the purpose of why we were born. And then we forget that we are actually God's child, and we begin to think that I am just this limited body, and I am just this situation where I find myself with so many limitations and no choices and a victim of my circumstance. And then we begin to miss the point. Because the spotlight of our mind, instead of turning towards God, is turning towards everything else outside of ourselves. And that's where the trouble begins. Yogananda ji said that we need to keep returning again and again, unlike the masters who are not compelled to return. But we, because of our karma, because of past actions, because of past thoughts, we are compelled to come back and finish some energy that we have started and learn our lessons. And so we're born again and again, but whatever it was that spotlight was turned to, whatever we thought was going to give us what we wanted, Master said, it's whatever we're longing for that draws us back. It's what we regret, things we regret, that draw us back. So one wonderful thing to do in introspection at night is ask yourself, what is it that I'm still holding out for? What is that thing that I think is really going to still do it for me, is going to make me happy, is going to satisfy my life, is going to ease my pain? That thing that I'm longing for, that's what you will come back for, Master says. Or the thing that you regret. Do you have some shame? Do you have mistake that happened? I wish that hadn't have happened. I have a small regret with my dad when he passed about almost 2 years ago now. It's not very big, but it's there, it's nagging at me. I was there in the hospital when he passed, and I just wished I would have said some things that I didn't say. And it's not a big deal, and I can resolve this in my heart, and we all need to resolve these things in God. But still, it keeps coming to me, like once a week it niggles at me. And I know that this is something I need to take care of, because I don't want to come back just to say that to him. I didn't actually know it was his last night, otherwise I really would have said it to him, but I thought we still had time. But still, and I know he knows in his heart, but I didn't say it. So I'm thinking, so I need to, and I keep saying it to him like this, but I need to really finish it, I know. So that longing and regret, that will bring us back. When we were doing the Hawan this morning, I was looking at the flames and I was thinking, all these longings and these regrets that we hold, that divine light, Divine Mother's purifying fire, Swamiji said every night, put these things, introspect, what are those things for you? And offer them to Divine Mother, let her burn those up at the spiritual eye, in her divine consciousness. And so, as we have these progressions of life, Master says we have been murderers, we have been thieves, we have been pirates. And he said, thank goodness we can't remember all our past lives. And of course, all of those lives were just a reflection of our consciousness. Because our consciousness runs this spectrum from, I am one with God, I am a part of God, being a soul, a jiva, I am infinite, eternal, and my consciousness is one with his infinite consciousness, because that's who we really are. And all of our incarnations are just about remembering that. And that's why they come, to remind us again and again. So I can have that infinite consciousness, or I can have the consciousness of I am just my ego, this personality, that have made all these mistakes, and I can identify with those mistakes, and I can regret those mistakes, and I keep thinking, I'm so small, I'm so stupid, and no wonder you keep coming back, because you're separating yourself from that infinite consciousness. You know, there's so many people that want to know about their past lives. You know, it's kind of a big thing. Past life regression, it's a big thing here in Delhi. In India, I see it a lot. But Sister Gyanamata, Yogananda's foremost woman disciple, said, why would you want to know about your past lives? All you need to do is look in the mirror. You know, look at the consciousness of what you are right now. All your past lives have led you to this consciousness. That's all that matters, is where you are now and what you're going to do about it. And it's not like, what was I? How? I mean, it actually would be boring. How many past lives do we have? Must be a lot, like a million probably. But okay, then I was in that situation, and then my name was so-and-so, and then I was that situation, and then my name was so-and-so. Once you get past 5, I think you'd start to get bored. So the point is not what we were in our past life. The point is who keeps coming back. Who is that? What is that? That's the soul. That's who we really are, that keeps coming back and getting drawn out from the staircase by Maya to go through our lessons. And where we are sitting right now in our lives, our situation, was just custom made by us as a divine, beautiful tapestry. Everything we've thought, all the decisions we've made, all the actions we've taken, all the people we did it with are just this beautiful, tapestry. And all these threads have come together to be right now. This situation, my family, my friends, this satsang, has put us right here. And in this situation, this place is the only place where our karma has brought us to learn. So our spine, our magnetism has drawn these lessons to us, custom made. And if we try to say, Divine Mother, I don't want to learn this lesson now, she say, okay, it's okay, you can come back, we can learn it next time. And some people may say, great, I get to come back, I get to do more shopping. I get to have more fun. But then those same people at the end of their lives, when they're not feeling so well, or their spouses have passed away, and their children are in another country, they may not feel that way. They may feel like, oh, I wish I would have got it better earlier on. So we have to ask ourselves, what are we drawing? What lessons are coming to us in this situation? Because it's only right now, in this eternal moment, that Divine Mother is offering us this gift. This is what you've asked for. Here it is. Come learn it. And so what's our next step? What is my next step? It's different from Pankaj. It's different from Amit. It's different from Mira's. Everybody has a next step. As we ascend that spiral staircase of wakefulness, it might be adding more time to your meditation. It might be starting to do Om practice every day. It may be instead of shopping for ourselves, we start shopping for others. It may be stopping shopping altogether and just give more time and energy to helping other people uplift their consciousness. Whatever that next step is for us, let's take it. And let's not turn away from Divine Mother and say, no, not this. She's here only to help us understand that we're one with her all the time and that we are just dancing together in her light. Swami Kriyananda said, Mahavatar Babaji said that he himself was Krishna in a former earth incarnation. Master told me that Lahiri Mahashaya was Rajachi Janakananda. Paramhansa Yogananda said that he himself was Arjuna. This is Swamiji speaking. I have come to feel, after years of editing Yogananda's writings, that our entire line of gurus have come back again and again for countless eons, and perhaps even from the beginning of human history, as saviors of mankind. No doubt there are other lines of great masters also, who in their compassion for humanity have returned again and again to this planet. So, our great masters incarnate again and again. It's sort of like they come back to prison. You know, we're in prison because we need to be in prison, but they come back on purpose, get behind the bars, and teach us and guide us. This is what you should take as your next step. And they're telling us all the time, do this, tune in to me. I will help you understand who you really are. And so let's be incredibly grateful. Let's tune into their consciousness, to Divine Mother's consciousness. We're always beaming their light, their love, their bliss on us to help us wake up. And let's just be grateful that they're here for us and that we have come together this morning in remembrance of that. God bless you.